I'm Francesca Maxime.
And I'm Matt McClure, and this is Currents.
From Brooklyn to Haiti, lemonade goes a long way.
We know that God sees our efforts, and these children are benefiting from it.
Some food for thought on good eats in your neighborhood.
We go to the different churches and ask the parishioners and people in the neighborhood where they love to go eat.
And a more spiritual life, one text at a time.
I think we're too much in the old way. We need to grow with what's going on in today's world.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. While we here in the U.S. have, for the most part, the very best emergency care and social services available, in other parts of the world that is just not the case. Take, for example, Haiti. According to one study, 80% of Haitians live on less than $2 a day.
Well, there's no doubt about it that help is always needed. But some people are actually finding new and creative ways to lend a helping hand, including a family in Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn. They're raising money for children in Haiti by selling lemonade.
My childhood, I was a middle-class family. We had food. We didn't struggle. But I did see around me those who were struggling and those who didn't have food. I would love to go back where I was brought up and see Haiti. So in that sense, I do miss Haiti. I want to see where I grew up. I want to see where I lived, if it's still there. I would love to do that.
All right. I have looked for years for something to do to help children. I have a heart for children. They're in a particularly vulnerable state. In the spring of 2008, I reconnected with a woman that I had known for about a decade. And she actually has a children's feeding program in Haiti in Port-au-Prince. And she feeds between 600 to 700 children twice a week. In spite of everything that really should be addressed there, you know, we really have just sort of narrowed into, you know, we know the kids need health care. We know that they need a functioning government, but what we know more than anything is they need to eat. And that's sort of what we've been trying to do.
It felt good because kids in Haiti, they don't basically go to bed on a full stomach, so it's kind of good that we're helping them go to bed on a full stomach.
Last year they were able to raise around $125, and the kids sent about 245 pounds of beans to the kids in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And this year we have a more aggressive goal. The kids do to send 1,000 pounds of food. To me, it just goes to show that no matter who you are or what situation you find yourself in, you know, every little thing that we do for other people makes a difference.
A community starts with a husband and a wife, and then they have kids, and that becomes a society. And oftentimes we tend to remain in that particular setting in life where it's just us and our family, and we forget to reach out. And I think the very fact that my wife started this and did this, I feel honored that I would have a wife who would not just think about herself and her family and her immediate family, but is willing to do what she can and involve us in participating and helping those who are less fortunate, especially those in Haiti.
If we really were to love our neighbor, if we really were to care about the poor, what that means and requires of us is that we give. And that's what we're hoping, that even if nobody were to see this, like, we know that God sees our efforts and these children are benefiting from it, and ultimately that's the reward.
The Strackman family there from Sheepshead Bay. And we've posted some more information about the family's work on our blog. Just head on over to netny.net/currents and click on riding the wave. And I know that your roots are in Haiti, so it's something that hits close to home for you.
Yeah, I was last there in 2003, and it was actually the first time I was there, but that was also the last time. And it's so poor. There's just piles of garbage in the streets. People don't have food, they don't have clothing, and they often don't even have shoes. And what you'll find is that people who do go on trips there oftentimes will just bring things, bring pots and pans, bring food, bring clothes. And the fact that they're trying to raise money to feed children there is just another valiant effort to help them.
That's right. And you know, it means so much more than just selling lemonade on the side of the street to, you know, let the kids be able to buy some new toys or something like that. It actually makes a difference in people's lives.
It's to their sustenance. It's the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere, and hopefully it won't always be that way. Well, we have more current straight ahead, including all the day's headlines.
Welcome back to Currents. I'm Matt McClure.
And I'm Francesca Maxime. Coming up a little later, should we be using Twitter perhaps to get closer to God? We'll answer that question, but first let's take a look at the day's headlines. The Boston Archdiocese has found a new way to deal with a priest shortage. Raise the retirement age. The Boston Globe reports priests there will have to wait an extra 5 years until they reach age 75 before they can retire. The Boston Archdiocese has closed 20 parishes in the last 5 years and increased the number of priests who oversee more than one parish. In the Brooklyn Diocese, priests can retire at age 71. From the San Francisco Bay Area, a bank robber comes clean. Feeling guilty about his heist, the thief went to confession and then handed the priest $1,200. Police are still looking for the robber, and they are not sure if the money he gave the priest is the entire amount that was stolen. First Maude and now Family Guy. Fox says it will not air a Family Guy episode that deals with abortion. In a statement, Fox executives say that they support the producer's right to make the episode and distribute it however they want. Family Guy creator Seth MacFarlane says that he supports Fox's decision and was happy to have the opportunity to, quote, take a crack at this controversial story.
Well, from Ireland, the government is putting tighter measures in place to protect children from sexual abuse, following an investigation that revealed widespread abuse at Catholic institutions there. Part of the plan includes building a memorial to apologize to the thousands of children who were abused throughout the 1990s. Other measures include independent inspections of children's shelters and an increase in the number of social workers. Well, vacation is over. For the Pope, that is. Benedict XVI left Les Combes, where he's been for the last 2 weeks, and has headed now to Castel Gandolfo. He'll spend the rest of the summer there and continue to be treated for his injured right wrist. The Pope said today that, quote, my guardian angel did not prevent my injury. The Pope fell and injured himself while looking for the light switch in his bedroom. And it's getting uglier in Vietnam following protests there by Catholics. 2 Catholic priests were beaten, with one of them being tossed from the 2nd floor of a building. Earlier in the week, Catholics took to the streets to protest an incident last week in which a group of people were beaten for attempting to build a makeshift area of worship. Well, stay tuned. There's much more current straight ahead.
Coming up, she visits restaurants and she also paid us a visit.
Like I said, it's a tough job, but somebody has to do it.
Well, if there is one thing at Currents that we love to talk about, it's food.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sure. We're terrible, aren't we? And that, anyway, fits in quite nicely for this next story. This summer, we want to give you a sampler of the other shows on our menu here at the Net.
Well, and the first item on our menu, we wanted to show you something called Breaking Bread. It's a show where the Net visits neighborhoods around the diocese to sample restaurants.
Hello, and welcome to a new episode of Breaking Bread.
And today we're at Holy Family Church in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. Now, if you're a parishioner here at Holy Family, you already know that there are a number of good restaurants in the neighborhood, and we're going to check out some of the parishioners' favorites today.
Our next stop on our little Williamsburg neighborhood tour is Miranda's restaurant. Now, while most restaurants focus on one type of cuisine, they've got an interesting mix here. They like to call it Latin American Italian. I never heard that one. So let's go inside and try this mix for ourselves. I'm here in Miranda with the owners, Sasha and Mauricio. Thank you for having us. The most curious thing about your place is the type of food that you serve here, and you described it as Latin American / Italian, right?
Yes, we have both worked in a lot of Italian restaurants, and we're both of Latin American descent.
Okay.
So we're pretty much bringing together the two things we know and love.
This is my favorite part of the entire show. What are we gonna make?
We're going to try that pappardelle with the lamb ragu and mole poblano.
Okay, sounds good. So let's get cooking. So these are all the ingredients that we need just to go into the mole sauce, right?
Yes.
This is very deep. We've got 12 different ingredients, right?
We have sesame seeds, black peppercorns, Mexican cinnamon, cloves, and cumin. We have some raisins to give it a little bit of sweetness. Also, we have plátano maduro, and that also gives it some sweetness. The most important ingredient right here, which is chile seco. It's an organic chili that Mauricio's grandmother grows and sends to us in big portions.
Amazing.
And this over here is cilantro criollo, which we finish off the pasta dish with.
Okay.
This is Mexican chocolate that also gives it a lot of flavor. It has cinnamon that's mixed into it. And everything goes well with onion and garlic too.
Let's put it all together.
Sure.
So we're gonna put a little, is that olive oil?
Yes, we're gonna start with
olive
a little bit
oil
of olive oil.
And so we're putting the lamb in the pan with the olive oil. It's already been heating up a little bit. Taking the pasta.
Yep, and we'll just drop the pasta into boiling water.
Now the pasta is homemade again. They roll it out and cut it all themselves. So now the pasta is boiling, the lamb ragu is heating up. So now what can I help you with?
If you could pass me the mole poblano.
There you go.
Okay, I think 2 spoonfuls in there.
1, 2. Okay.
And then we'll just stir it around. So we season this as we're cooking, but it's always good to finish it with a little bit more salt.
Okay, let me hand you the salt. Now I'm heavy-handed with salt, so I want you to do it.
Sprinkle it a little bit.
So now we just heat that all up together.
Keep stirring it around. We want to check on our pasta.
Okay.
The fresh pasta cooks pretty quickly, probably about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
And we don't want this to get too dry, so I'm going to add some vegetable stock. Could you pass that to me?
Sure. How much can I put of this?
You can put 1 ladleful.
Right. That probably prevent it from drying out and create even a little bit more sauciness for the pasta?
Definitely.
Great. Wow. What do you fill it with?
Right now we're doing broccoli rabe and fresh ricotta.
Okay. Ooh, so now we're putting the pasta straight into the pan.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we'll let it continue to cook a little bit.
Do we mix it together or no?
Yeah, we can mix it. A little bit of the pasta water.
Why is that? I see that a lot.
I think it
and I never
helps
even
the sauce to adhere to the pasta, the starch that comes. As it starts to cook down, we'll just add in a little bit of cilantro.
Fresh cilantro.
Yes. Mauricio's going to finish that off with a little bit of Parmesan at the table.
I still can't get over the fresh pasta. Wow.
Finish that off with the lamb.
And that's lamb shoulder, right?
Yes, it is. You could also use lamb shank, anything that stands up to a nice long cook.
So Sasha, I'm very excited to try this unique mix.
Great.
I definitely think that what's going to have people coming to Miranda is this interesting fusion of Latin American and Italian cuisine. And from what I can see, this mix is working, and that's going to have people coming back for more and more and more. Oh, more cheese? Please. Always more cheese for me. I have a reputation for being greedy, so more is always good. Make sure you write down this information so you can come and check out Miranda for yourself. Sasha and I are going to break bread. Let's get started.
Buon appetito.
Thank you.
Yum. That is Tati Amare from the Nets of Breaking Bread. And coming up next, we're actually going to talk to Tati. She's going to give us some recipes for the show's success. So stay tuned for that. We've got that and more ahead on Currents.
Coming up, Facebook, Twitter, and God?
There's more kids probably right now online than there are in church.
Well, we just had a taste of Breaking Bread, a show here on Net that visits restaurants in different neighborhoods around the diocese.
But we want to now have a look at what keeps the show cooking. And to do that, I sat down last week with one of the co-hosts of Breaking Bread, Tati Amare. Well, Tati, thank you so much for being a part of the show today. We appreciate you joining us.
It is my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Now, you are the co-host of Breaking Bread here on the Net.
That's right.
What is Breaking Bread for those who haven't seen it?
Breaking Bread is a restaurant review show, but with a twist. So what we do is we go to the different churches throughout the diocese and ask the parishioners and people in the neighborhood where they love to go eat, especially after church on Sundays. We get the top 3 or 4, and we go and visit those places and make sure they're worthy of all the good word of mouth that they get.
You got to do all the taste testing.
Yeah, someone's got to do it. It's a rough job.
Right. Well, if you ever need anybody, to go ahead and taste test for you,
no problem.
I'll be glad to.
I'll put you on the list.
Right. So, how long has Breaking Bread been on the air? Is it you're just wrapped up season 1, right?
Right, and we are starting to shoot season 2. And we're really excited about it. There are going to be a couple of changes, but they're going to be great, and it's just been a lot of fun as usual.
Right. Now, as I mentioned as we started, you are the co-host. Tell me a little bit about the other host of the show.
The other co-host is Father Jamie, and he's the pastor at Mary Queen of Heaven here in Brooklyn. And he actually went to culinary school and worked as a chef for 10 years in restaurants and hotels.
Wow.
So he's no amateur. He really knows his way around the kitchen. He gives us, tons of feedback. And now, this season you'll even see him doing a little cooking. So I don't want to give it all away, but, there'll be some surprises.
Well, very good. Well, we'll look forward to that. Now, along with taking a look at restaurants in the area, I know you also may learn a bit about the parish. As well as you're there, correct?
It's almost natural to learn about the parish because the parish reflects the neighborhood that it's in.
Right.
So if it's a strong, Latino neighborhood, some have a large Asian population. So you'll learn about the neighborhood and you'll learn about the church all at the same time. They go together. They live off of the same air.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
Well, I was watching as I was getting ready to talk to you, watching one of the episodes, and it was so cool to see. I had actually been to this parish a few weeks before to do a story, and it was so cool. I was like, I need to go back to that neighborhood now and eat some of the food because it looks so great.
I bet you wish you knew what was there before you got there,
exactly.
Right?
See, then I would have known where to go after I got through with the story and all that.
Exactly. So. You would know what to order, how much Breaking Bread.
Right. Well, see, you got to go into the kitchen actually with the chefs and look and kind of cook along with them and see how this food's made, right?
We do. Normally what we do is every place has a popular dish, the most popular dish on the menu. So a lot of times we focus on that one or what their specialty is, and we get in the trenches and we learn how to make it too. And some things, of course, you might not have all that fancy equipment to make it at home, but it definitely inspires and makes you want to cook for yourself.
Right, or go visit the restaurant or something.
Absolutely.
Well, a lot of people might be watching and say, well, all this food stuff sounds great, but what in the world does it have to do with new evangelization? Because this is Net, we call ourselves New Evangelization Television. They're like, what in the world does that have to do with the Catholic Church?
Well, after church, I won't say it's customary or everybody does it. A lot of times people go out to eat afterward, and it's a great opportunity to talk about the sermon, talk about your week coming ahead, and it's kind of like, that Sunday you're tithing your time too, right? So part of it is kind of like preparing yourself, at that being our first day of the week, to go into the week and face all the challenges that we're going to have. So they go together.
Sit down and break bread together.
Exactly.
Well, as I was watching the show too, you would go into the kitchen and cook with the chef, and then the plate would be prepared, and then this was my favorite part, just so you know, you'll sit down and you'll say, well, now it's time for me to break bread. I'm going to break bread. And he goes, so do you really eat all of that food?
We do. We do. Me and the crew. So when I say we, I mean all of us. Like I said, it's a tough job, but somebody has to do it. And of course, we don't want to offend the restaurants, right? As if it's hard to, as if there's any way to offend them. But no, it's our pleasure. We get to eat. Like today, I haven't been eating all day because I'll be eating all day tomorrow. So we kind of fit it in. But it's a lot of fun.
I know you said you came into the studio hungry today.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Okay. Now you know why.
Exactly.
Now
well,
you know why.
I know. I'm like, why would the host of a food show be hungry? But
she'll be eating all day tomorrow. That's why.
Right. Well, very good. Tell me, the show is on Wednesday nights.
Wednesday nights, right? We're rerunning now Wednesdays at 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. And you can catch all the old episodes and kind of get an idea of what we're all about. And like I said, season 2, we're going to have some surprises for you.
So what's your most popular omelet with the people who work here?
Most popular. What is the most popular omelet we have here?
Pierogies. Duck tamarind.
Fancy tilapia to shrimp mascarpone. Let's do it.
So let's go.
Come on.
Pepper.
Gotcha.
If you was working on that,
I'd be in trouble.
You'd be in trouble.
No, you don't come here and count calories. Yeah, they put me to work here. We get to eat it.
Tati, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks. And again, to see more of Breaking Bread, you can head on over to netny.net/breakingbread. Now I just want to eat, and so much temptation there.
Almost dinner time. And it's also a good reminder to remember to say grace before breaking bread, even if you're home or you're at work. Sometimes I think it's nice to give pause because seeing all that food and it is tied to the net and everything. It's a nice way to just give thanks for the food that we do have to God.
Yeah, and she was saying it's more than just about food and about eating. It's about that fellowship that you can have with other people while you're eating as well, and you can talk about your lives and things like that, things that are going on. So it is a very spiritual experience as well.
Absolutely. And while we always tell you about all the things the net has to offer on our website, it is all part of an effort to use new technology to spread the faith.
That is right. And so we went to 3 parishes in South Brooklyn: St. Dominic's, St. Finbarr's, and St. Athanasius. And we asked them this question: should the church be using new technology to evangelize?
We're going to spread the word any possible way that is available. As long as it's a good one, as long as for a good purpose, everything, we got to really fill, all the internet and all the media with good messages.
I think it's too much of that. With the texting, with the Twitter, with the this. It's making children not be children, and it's making adults do crazy things.
Facebook, I don't know. I really think they don't need it. They got bulletin boards, they've got the streets, they have people to talk with mouth and mouth. You really don't need the internet. I don't see what the point of it is. It's really just for people to talk, socialize, socializing network.
It seems like the trend with a lot of the politicians and stuff, will it work? It might, reach other people, but I'm not a big fan of it myself.
It's got a lot of potential, and the reality is, unfortunately, I've already learned, kids don't check email. I'm already moving to how do I communicate with kids? You got to text to them.
The internet is used for everything from pornography to advertisement, so I don't see why it shouldn't be also used to preach the good news.
The internet is a little dehumanizing. There's less of a human touch, so I think avoiding it is probably better for everybody.
The easier, the better for people to get to know that if it wasn't for Christ and God, there would be no internet.
I think we're too much in the old way. We need to grow with what's going on in today's world to get our younger people to be more involved.
You might as well, if that's where the kids are, because we sure know there's more kids probably right now online than there are in church. So
I think everything is all right how it is.
Why not? It's free and it's available, really.
a cross-section of opinions from churchgoers there in South Brooklyn. And I'm actually working on a series right now about how people in the church are using various forms of new media. And tomorrow I'll be showing you a new and innovative way that the Diocese of Trenton is using the internet. So stay tuned for that.
All right, we will, Matt. And new media is, of course, a big part of what we do here. You can always visit us online. The address is netny.net/currents.
We'd also like to hear from you as well. You can just send us an email. Our address is dropusaline, all one word, at currentsny.net. So for all of us here at Currents, I'm Matt McClure.
And I'm Francesca Maxime. Have a great evening.